Welcome, everyone. I would like to start by acknowledging the Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, Musqueam, and Coquitlam peoples on whose traditional territory it is such an honor to gather this afternoon. I would like to invite Mr. Jason Spence, an undergraduate student in the Faculty of Science and a member of SFU's choir, to lead us all in singing O Canada. Jason.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Please be seated. I declare the Spring 2019 Convocation assembled for the granting of degrees. Mr. President, members of the Board of Governors and Senate, faculty, honored guests, graduands, and friends, I am Anne Giardini, Chancellor of Simon Fraser University. We are delighted and honored to have you join us for Convocation. In attendance today are a number of distinguished guests in the audience and on the platform, including members of Senate, vice presidents, dean, and faculty members. And I'd like to acknowledge that are here today from the SFU Board of Governors, Fiona Robin, Board Chair, and Ali Versi, and Jennifer Wade, who will be conferred an honorary Doctorate of Laws this afternoon, and our SFU alumni, legacy, parents, and families. Welcome all. And thank you all for your patience with the construction that you can see going on around you on campus. Behind the platform, the SFU Student Society's new student building is coming along. The building is expected to be completed later this year. It will be entirely devoted to students, with lounges, study areas, meeting rooms, and recreational facilities. And throughout the main corridor on campus, east to west, is the Public Plaza Renewal Project, which will improve accessibility and create more gathering space as we go about renewing some of our older infrastructure. I'm delighted to see you all here to participate in or bear witness to Simon Fraser's most important ceremony, Convocation. This is the moment, this is the time, and this is the hour when we gather as a collective of scholars and supporters to celebrate achievement, recognize success, and confer well-earned honors. Graduands, this is your day, and I, for one, could not be prouder. There are many reasons to tackle and complete a university degree, diploma, or certificate. Charles Darwin said it well in an 1878 letter to his sisters from the ship the Beagle. It appears to me, he wrote, that doing what little one can do to increase the general stock of knowledge is as respectable an object of life as one can in any likelihood pursue. Your university education provides you with a well-stocked mind, but your education does more than that. It makes all of us wiser, since you can do society the service in all you do of distinguishing fact from falsehood and truth from duplicity. You can do this in conversation and on social media. You can do this in the work you choose to do, in how you live your daily life, and at the ballot box. There may or may not be a war on truth, but truth is certainly under siege. Not so long ago, there was a march for science in cities around the globe. People committed to truth and logic, people like yourself, were marching, and they held up signs like "Keep calm" and "Think critically." And It's so severe, the nerds are here. And I could be in the lab right now. My favorite, however, was the call and response. What do we want? Science. When do we want it? After peer review. But good science is not enough. For decades, supporters of science have tried to convey what is special about it by focusing on past successes of scientific achievement. The wheel, astronomy, medicine, flight. But it turns out that if we really want to convey why science is important, we need to focus too on those fields that are not sciences, such as the arts and business and communication, among many others. This spring, SFU hosted a community summit called Confronting the Disinformation Age. And since then, a range of disinformation resources has been posted on SFU's Public Square website. Have a look, and you can become alert to and able to distinguish between subjects such as post-truth, disinformation, misinformation, clickbait, confirmation bias, filter bubbles, and the like. As you contemplate your future, I offer you two challenges. First, put your education to use in a world full of misinformation. Speak up. Rather than running away from challenging topics and those who seek to mislead, see these as proof that you are needed. You'll know you're close to an uncomfortable area when you start to take some flack. These are wonderful opportunities to make a difference. Second, serve. Rather than complaining about those who make decisions for society, consider becoming someone who makes decisions for society yourself. You are now, by definition, someone with talent and new ideas. Make it your aim to learn about how government works at all levels and to find your opportunity to help your community. It's not that you owe it to the world, but that the world does need you very badly. Because you are or are about to become SFU grads, I have every confidence that you will flourish in these days to come. You will be innovative. You will be attentive. You will be creative. You will find time to consider how this world might be changed for the better. You might well do something yourself, large or small, that will help to bring about much needed change. Looking forward, I hope that you will spend your time both profligately and wisely, and spend many hours in that productive, satisfying state of imagination that engenders the very best of what you are capable of. I guess I have a third request, and it's this. Please stay in touch with those of us who will remain here at SFU. We are proud of you, and we are grateful, we are changed, and we are improved by this time that we have spent together. Thank you. I now call upon the president of our university, Professor Andrew Petter.
Madam Chancellor, honored guests, members of the Board of Governors and Senate, faculty members, staff, and most especially graduates, family, and friends. It is my privilege to preside at this culminating celebration of your education at Simon Fraser University. As this ceremony unfolds, our message to you is clear. As each of you receives your degree, I and the entire university community want you to know how proud we are of you. We've seen your work, we've admired your performance. Your degrees are not merely documents of accreditation, they're a living testament to the faith we have in your ability to flourish in a dynamic world. They're also a reflection of the institution you chose, one whose vision it is to be Canada's engaged university. That focus on engagement has provided you an enriched and relevant educational environment, one that has not only equipped you with disciplinary knowledge, research capacities, and critical thinking abilities, but has also enabled you to gain workplace experience, community insight, and global awareness. These are the aptitudes required to climb your first mountain. Now, I'm not talking here about Burnaby Mountain. That's another peak you've learned to scale as part of your SFU education. I'm referring to the first mountain as described by New York Times columnist David Brooks. Brooks is the author of a new book entitled The Second Mountain: The Quest for a Moral Life. Having established himself as a celebrated writer and popular media commentator, Brooks reached the pinnacle of his first mountain, which he describes as the place you go to pursue material gain, to seek public recognition, and if all goes well, to find happiness. But SFU's vision, and my ambition for you, is directed to much more than the individual success associated with accumulating wealth, gaining social standing, or pursuing a profitable career. My hope, and that of this university, is that your SFU education will also prepare you to scale what David Brooks calls the second mountain, the place you go to contribute to the well-being of others. In Brooks's words, the second mountain is where you are driven by the desires of your heart and soul, not by the demands of your ego. Success on the second mountain is about collective welfare rather than individual advantage. In a variation on the theme of engagement, Brooks says that this second quest is about interdependence rather than independence. It involves attending to the needs both of individuals and of the community. And here's the wonderful thing. The second mountain is where you attain what Brooks calls joy, a state more rewarding and resilient than happiness. I recently heard Brooks interviewed about the book and about his own personal journey, and I was immediately drawn to his vision of a second mountain because it resonates so strongly with my own experience and with what I believe this university is all about. A belief that the true measure of our success as human beings is not how much better we make life for ourselves, but how much better we make it for others. Like Brooks, I recommend to you the rewards that come from building a better world. They far exceed those that accompany personal ambition and self-aggrandizement. Individual accomplishments can be gratifying, but the sense of efficacy and attainment to be gained from helping others and enriching communities delivers much greater satisfaction and fulfillment. So here, today, I hope you revel in your achievements to date. As you stand on this mountain, you have every right to bask in the happiness you have earned and share that delight with your colleagues, your friends, and your family. Bravo for having made it this far up your first mountain. It is a critical foundation for what lies ahead. But when the excitement of today's festivities begins to wane, I commend to you that second climb. There's joy aplenty to be found there in a world that so desperately needs your commitment, your energy, and your leadership. And whatever mountains confront you, you can take comfort knowing that you needn't make that climb alone. The relationships you formed here with friends and colleagues, with faculty and mentors, will serve you better than any single lesson. Today, you take your place amongst a global network of over 160,000 SFU alumni in more than 140 countries, supported by an association that is there to assist and connect you. And while this phase of your education is complete, continued success in this ever-changing and challenging world will depend upon your commitment to lifelong learning. In that regard, SFU will always be here for you should you need help. For now, this is your time. Enjoy it and use it wisely. Share it generously with those you love and just as generously with those who don't have your advantages, knowing that it is on the second mountain that you will make your greatest contributions and find your greatest joy. Congratulations to you all.
SFU's honorary degree is the highest honor conferred by the university. Honorary degrees are awarded to distinguished individuals in recognition of their scholarly, scientific, or artistic achievement, or in recognition of exceptional contribution to the public good through professional or philanthropic activity. Honorary degree recipients' achievements celebrate our university's values, and they serve as an inspiration and as a role model to our students, graduates, and communities. The honorary degree will now be conferred. To present the honorary degree candidate, Ms. Jennifer Wade, I am very pleased to welcome Dr. Katie McCullough. Dr. McCullough is the Director of the Centre for Scottish Studies and an Assistant Professor in the Department of History here at Simon Fraser University. Dr. McCullough.
Madam Chancellor, I am honored to present Ms. Jennifer Prosser-Wade, a lifelong champion of education, social justice, and human rights in Canada and around the world. Born in India to a Nova Scotian father who was a doctor and a Scottish mother with a fierce sense of justice and fair play, Ms. Wade learned early the value of service to others. But it was in the 1960s, as a postgraduate student in London, that her justice advocacy truly began. After reading The Forgotten Prisoners, the first newspaper article ever written about Amnesty International, she became actively involved in the organization and would help to co-found the Vancouver chapter 13 years later. In between London and Vancouver, Ms. Wade taught at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. There, she became involved in the civil rights movement, working alongside Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King. In 1968, she moved to Pakistan, where she devoted her time to improving conditions in rural villages and raising money to build schools for girls and to start libraries. Living in Vancouver in the mid-1970s, now a single mother and foster parent, and teaching English at the University of British Columbia, she did not pause her advocacy work. In addition to spearheading several high-stakes amnesty cases, she served the Elizabeth Fry Society, the United Nations Association of BC, the World Federalists, and SOS Children's Villages, among others, and helped many refugee families from around the world to settle in Canada. Since 1997, Ms. Wade has been working to establish motivating scholarships and bursaries to help former children in care or those who experience great difficulties in their pursuit of post-secondary education. As well, at SFU, she established the Jennifer Prosser-Wade and Family Award for Scottish Studies, an award that students who have demonstrated community service receive. Ms. Wade's contributions have been widely recognized. Among other awards, she received the United Nations Association Rennet Shearer Award for her outstanding contribution to human rights in British Columbia, and the BC Civil Liberties Association's Reg Robson Award for exceptional contributions to the field of human rights and civil liberties. In 2017, she was named to the Order of British Columbia. SFU is proud to recognize Ms. Wade's commitment to human rights and social justice. Madam Chancellor, on behalf of the Senate of this university, I ask that you now confer upon Jennifer Wade the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
All set. Jennifer Wade, by virtue of the authority vested in me and in the Senate of this university, I hereby admit you to the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa. Ms. Jennifer Wade will be hooded by Dr. Elizabeth Ellie, Vice Provost and Associate Vice President, Learning and Teaching, and by Mr. Steve Burney, Associate Registrar.
Get you hooded, Jennifer. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Now, you can sign the book and then I'll introduce you. I'll put the platform up so you'll be nice and high for another. It is with great pleasure that I now call on Dr. Jennifer Wade for her convocation address. Dr. Wade.
Thanks very much. Chancellor Giardini, President Better, members of the board and Senate, faculty and staff, all honored guests here today, and graduates of Simon Fraser for whom this occasion exists. I want to first thank the Simon Fraser community for this great honor. I also want to say that nothing I have managed to do has ever been done alone. I want to thank all supporters and friends and family. I'm grateful to my two sons here today for their great support through the many years, even when I took on, at times, some of the things that I took on came with them a few more threats and complexities than I had bargained for. It is a great honor to speak to you, the graduates of Simon Fraser University, at this meaningful occasion in your lives. One chapter is closing for you, and a new chapter in your story that is unique is beginning. Let me begin by saying I find it amazing that although I have spoken up against injustices in many religious, political, and social organizations, both in my own country and in countries abroad, yet Simon Fraser has seen fit to give me an honorary degree today. I find this quite amazing. Working with Amnesty International since it began in 1961, I am well aware that in most countries of the world, I would have been silenced a long time ago for the questions I have raised. Even as I stand here speaking to you today, people in Hong Kong asking simply for democratic reform as they march with their yellow umbrellas have been given 7 to 10 year sentences in prison and been called public nuisances. Some are to be extradited to the Chinese mainland to serve their sentences, thus putting them far away from families, from legal help, and from medical help. Sadly, China is a fearfully oppressive country today. And also, as I speak, in Iran, a prominent human rights lawyer, a woman called Nasreen Sotoudeh, a mother of 2 children, she's facing 17 years in prison and 148 lashes for speaking out in defense of human rights. And closer to home, a UBC student from Saudi Arabia who graduated in 2014, her name Loujain El Hatloul, and maybe some of you have known her. She now is imprisoned in Saudi Arabia along with 11 other women simply for wanting to drive a car and for asking not to have male guardianship every time they leave the house. These women, imprisoned now for over a year, and reports have it some have been tortured, they've been charged with undermining the peace of the Kingdom of Saud. It almost sounds like a joke in this century, but it is not any joke at all. One could go around the world citing such injustices that exist when people speak out, but I mention just 1 or 2 by way of illustrating what a very great privilege it is to live in a country like Canada, where one can speak up and one can write letters and articles, and one can even vote without fear. But wonderful as such rights are, we in Canada must never take anything that is democratic for granted. It is a sad fact, but each and every generation has to be vigilant to fight for those articles contained in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. They are simple, but they are profound, and they are universal. And the rights that they give us can be threatened very easily, as indeed we have been seeing in the past few years. We have seen it most where authoritarian, populist, and ultra-nationalistic leaders have gained power in so many countries. And we have seen it in the recent frightening return of anti-Semitism, not only in Central and Eastern Europe, but also here, sadly, on campuses in Canada and America. And we have seen it in the way Muslims have been threatened for no reason, and in the way our First Nations people have been treated. Much has been said about the truth and reconciliation that's been going on, but Leonard Peltier, the most iconic figure in what was the North American Indian movement, remains in prison for 43 years for a crime he seemingly never committed. Canada, regrettably, extradited him to the US on what are known to be now false affidavits. I was at the courthouse when Leonard Peltier was led away, and I have kept in touch with him through the years. In addition, all around us, plain civility, for which Canadians once prided themselves, seems to be giving way to rude and crude behavior. And with this breakdown of civility, we are reminded that what is civilized is never that far from what is uncivilized. One of my favorite Canadian poets, the Newfoundland poet E.J. Pratt, expresses this in one of his poems when he says, "Between the temple and the cave, the boundary lies tissue thin." All too readily, he is saying, the aspirations of the temple can give way to the barbarism of the cave. And we realize this as we see some of the just laws being reversed and as rights for ordinary people are being taken away. Nothing is forever, least of all democratic rights. Much has been said about social media threatening democracy, and I believe Simon Fraser had a whole session on this during the last year. And it is true that the spreading of false information and propaganda is frightening for all of us, and we can all be duped. It seems that the researched newspaper article of the last century has given way to immediate and non-researched news, so that we are reading what goes by the strange name of disinformation. And of course, lack of trust together with fear grows as this disinformation spreads and threatens freedom of speech, freedom of assembly. In Myanmar, disinformation in the form of false rumors is said to have led to the torture and the tragic expulsion of the Rohingya people. Certainly, social media has caused confusion and tragedy, but I would like to think that social media might get regulated to be more responsible, so that it could work positively to further some of the goals that have made our civilization perhaps one of the most successful in human history. I believe we are on track to lessen poverty, to fight disease, to fight maternal and infant mortality. We are even on track to educate every child to read and write. We are not nearly there yet, but we have made advances. And should you doubt me about these advances, I refer you to a book given to me by one of my sons, Factfulness by Hans Rosling. It's a reassuring read in an uncertain age. What is most needed now to really advance these positive goals are leaders with vision, not just people looking for votes to keep them in power. As the book of Proverbs says, where there is no vision, the people perish. Today, in these days of unrest and uncertainty, we badly need leaders with vision. Leaders who can see through the exploding pace of advances in technology to recognize that global interdependence and global governance is not some mythical future vision. It is actually an inescapable reality. I quote from Professor Payam Akavan of McGill Law School, and I read, "So either we create global institutions that will allow us to effectively govern the world, or we will be forced to do so after some unimaginable catastrophe leaves us with no choice. The International Criminal Court, the rule of law, has to be seen as not just lofty aspiration for a bunch of do-gooder human rights activists, but as an essential instrument of global governance. And we will all pay the price for having weak global institutions later." That is Akavan putting a challenge before all of us. As you go forward, to the graduates I speak now, as you go forward with your ideals and your ambitions, taking on such challenges, some things will be very exciting, but you will face confusion and you will face corruption in the world around you, as one eventually does. But remember that with the education you now have, you do become a force for change. And never, never underestimate what you can do. It was Nelson Mandela who said, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure." However, trying to bring about change, even a small and seemingly logical change, is seldom easy. I speak from experience when I say that all changes require a lot of determination. Yes, you will have to compromise, but do not sell your soul too cheaply. Sometimes it is hard as we make our way in life that we do not lose sight of who we really are and what our better nature is. Let me just summarize the points I've tried to make to you today quickly. I've mentioned the real privilege of being allowed to speak up and to speak freely. I have spoken about democracy and human rights never being taken for granted in our own country. I've spoken about the threat to democracy of social media today, but also the possibilities of what positive things that social media can bring about. I barely touched on some of the real successes of our civilization, and I have said that we need leaders with vision and integrity to further these successes. I also mentioned the great need we now have for global governance, global action, and global institutions. And finally, I encouraged you, the graduates, to go forward with courage and belief in your powers so that you can go beyond just existing to really living. And now, as I conclude, I do so with a simple but profound statement made by Jane Goodall, the world-renowned expert on primates, who received an honorary degree here at Simon Fraser last year. She wrote a very simple sentence: "We have the choice to use the gifts of our lives to make the world a better place." We do have that choice. It can be as simple as a random act of kindness, or it can be as complex as fighting global injustice. But we do have that choice. Thank you very much for letting me take part in your graduation today.
Thank you, Jennifer. Be careful stepping down.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Dr. Wade. Ladies and gentlemen, as part of Convocation, the Alumni Association will present a Simon Fraser University alumni pin to the graduates as they leave the stage. Our alumni are incredibly important to us, and we're pleased that this symbolic presentation will launch you on your new role as alumni of SFU. Ms. Jillian Holter received a Bachelor of Arts in Commerce in 1969. She's also a charter alumnus who is currently a member of the Alumni Association Board of Directors. I invite Ms. Holter to the lectern to bring greetings to the graduands. Jillian?
Thank you, President Petter. Good afternoon, graduands. It's a pleasure to be here today. Graduands, you should know that it was 50 years ago today that I was sitting where you are, waiting to get my degree. So I'm glad I'm here to see you get yours. Today, your relationship with SFU evolves as you officially become lifetime members of a worldwide network with more than 160,000 alumni in over 140 countries. Our Alumni Association celebrates its 50th anniversary this year. Our goal is to provide you with opportunities to learn, grow, and thrive through local, national, and international events, career resources, library services, and many other value-added benefits. As alumni, you now serve as ambassadors for SFU in your community. Through your journey, you will also inspire current and future students to dream, to strive for excellence, and to make their own mark in society. Please stay connected with us through social media and by signing up for our alumni email forwarding service. We want to hear from you and have the chance to celebrate your successes. As you cross the stage today, it will be my pleasure to present you with an alumni pin. Wear it as a symbol of your incredible achievement and connection to Simon Fraser University. Be proud of your accomplishments. Be proud of your SFU credentials. And thank you all for investing your time, energy, and talents in this great university. Congratulations and welcome to the Alumni Association.
Thank you, Jillian. Before the graduands are presented individually to the Chancellor, Ms. Sarah Yorston, a member of the graduating class, will address Convocation. Sarah is graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in Criminology and a certificate in Legal Studies. Between her studies and a semester abroad in Sweden, she spent her time at SFU working as a research assistant and volunteering as a writing and learning peer mentor and study abroad ambassador. This September, Sarah will begin a master's degree in international politics with the goal of pursuing a career in international law. I'm now pleased to call upon Ms. Sarah Yorston for the graduate address. Sarah?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. To begin, I'd first like to acknowledge our presence here on the traditional territory and unceded land of the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh nations that we now know as Simon Fraser University. It is our privilege and not our right to be gathered here today. Mr. President, Honorable Chancellor, distinguished staff, guests, friends, family, and of course, graduating class of 2019, welcome here today. It's my distinct honor to say congratulations, we made it. To so many onlookers and listeners here who aren't walking the stage today, I say with equal emphasis, congratulations and thank you. To the parent who e-transferred their child when they texted you frantically saying they couldn't afford textbooks, thank you. To the teaching assistant who met a panic-stricken middle-of-the-night email with understanding, thank you. To the professor who lectured on a subject in a way that set a student ablaze with a formerly unrecognized passion, thank you. To the sister, brother, father, mother, aunt, grandparent, friend who saw any one of us overwhelmed and struggling and unselfishly waded into that space to offer support, thank you. We got here, but we leaned on you to do it. For that, I sincerely thank each one of you celebrating alongside us today for the part you played in the culmination of this moment. Now, graduands, I'd like to encourage us all to take today to properly acknowledge what we're about to achieve here. Let's take today to stop stressing, to stop writing to-do lists, to look around and celebrate our arrival. This moment is significant. Let's not waste the joy of today on the apprehension of tomorrow. If you're like me, it might have taken you longer than expected to get here. You might have encountered obstacles you didn't even see coming until you tripped over them and landed flat on your face. You might have stepped foot on this SFU campus for the first time as a student with totally different expectations for yourself than what transpired in reality. I look back on my 18-year-old self who embarked on this journey 5 years ago, all bright-eyed and fresh-faced, with an intended major I never even ended up taking a course in. That version of me was more idealistic, less caffeinated, and altogether more certain of what my future looked like. When I think about it, it's probably even true to say that 18-year-old me would look at myself now and be disappointed. I graduated a year later than expected. I'm not heading to law school in September as I predicted, and I didn't finish with a 4.0 GPA as I hoped. But my suspected disappointment would be unfairly earned because 18-year-old me didn't have the capacity, gained through experience, to view change through a different lens. 18-year-old me could only identify forward motion as linear and didn't understand that any deviation from the plan could still be a success story. My degree was extended by a year because I studied abroad in Sweden, which grew me in ways I'm still realizing. That experience taught me resilience, pushed my boundaries, and allowed me to consider trying things far outside my comfort zone, like standing here right now. I still plan to one day pursue law school, but the opportunity to study international politics in Belgium at the heart of the EU fell right into my lap. I couldn't have back then predicted my passion for global relations, which I only began to realize in my third year through the teaching of a few truly exceptional professors here at SFU. Lastly, I don't have a good reason for not having a 4.0 GPA. School's just hard. Still, I'd like to blame it on the fact that what one person calls a GPA booster is seriously subjective. Anyways, for the record, you don't have to be perfect to be excellent. The point of me telling you these things is to acknowledge that change can be okay. In the coming years, I'm sure your expectations for yourself will too be derailed at some point. Past you was not all-knowing. Past you could not foresee the sometimes serendipitous, sometimes unfortunate circumstances that would shape your journey here at SFU. As you look forward, remember that present you doesn't know the future either. Remember that in the same way your complications, missteps, and failures here did not keep you from achieving this goal, the obstacles you will face as you pursue what's next are similarly conquerable. I leave you now with a cliche but applicable quote from Maya Angelou who said, "Do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better." So let's go get on with the learning and knowing and doing better. Congratulations, grads of 2019.
Thank you, Sarah. The members of the graduating class will now be presented to the Chancellor to be admitted en masse to their degrees. Will the graduands please rise? Pretty good-looking group, don't you think? Madam Chancellor, I present to you those scholars who have fulfilled the statutory requirements laid down by the Senate of this university, and I request that you confer upon them the degrees for which they are now recommended.
By virtue of the authority vested in me and in the Senate of this university, I hereby admit you to your various and several degrees. The graduands may now be seated.
The members of the graduating class will now be presented individually to the Chancellor, but first, a few requests. Would you please refrain from applauding the individual members of the graduating class until each group of degrees has been conferred? This does not apply to the conferral of doctoral degrees or the awarding of medals, And obviously, we can't forbid spontaneous outbursts of enthusiasm, nor would we want to. As a courtesy to others, please remain seated until the conclusion of the ceremony. Would the graduates please return to your seats following the receipt of your degrees, except for our doctoral graduates, who we invite to join your colleagues on the platform. The degrees in the Faculty of Arts and Social Science will now be conferred. Madam Chancellor, Dr. Jeff Dirksen, Dean and Associate Provost, Graduate and Postdoctoral Studies, will announce the names of the students earning graduate degrees.
Madam Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting the graduands of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. The graduands will be hooded by their accompanying faculty supervisor, or Dr. Jane Polkingham, Dean of the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. Dr. Sine Sebagoglu will be hooded by Dr. Jeremy Carpendale. Dr. Antonia Dangalcheva will be hooded by Dean Polkingham. Dr. Sasha Davis will be hooded by Dean Polkingham. Dr. Donna Talfrazy will be hooded by her senior supervisor, Dr. Kathleen Slaney. Dr. Krista Haley Smith Johnson will be hooded by Dean Polkingham. Dr. Colleen Pavlechka will be hooded by Dean Polkingham. Dr. Ashley Pritchard will be hooded by Dean Polkingham. Dr. Andrea Smith will be hooded by Dean Polkingham. Madam Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting the graduates of master's degrees in the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. Thanks. Joher Angeles. Virginia Ashley. Ravinder Baines. Ashok Bhatti. Ashley Braun. Allison Campbell. Nita Chadha. Aiden Fortier. Maria Jose Gandolfo. Sukhmander Gill. Tanya Gupta. Melissa Johnson. Benjamin K. Yip Khan. Ernest Cleaver. Gary Kwan. Leslie Madur. Julia Milka. Sorry. Franca Muraka. December Parker. Robert Pooney. Sarah Power. Samantha Kwan. Brenda Redman. Jessica Sharma. Shiwan Shi. Robert Shin. Betty Sarota. Wing Yan Tammy Su. Thanks. Ivan Wang. Paul Williams. Judy Yip Armitage.
Madam Chancellor, the Dean of the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, Dr. Jane Polkingham, will announce the names of students earning undergraduate degrees in her faculty.
Madam Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting the graduates of the degree of Bachelor of Arts in the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. The first graduate, Ms. Lindsay Sampson, is the recipient of the Dean's Convocation Medal for Academic Excellence. I ask Ms. Sampson to come forward. Just stand. Lindsay is graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology with an extended minor in Linguistics. Lindsay not only achieved a near-perfect record in a challenging honors program, she also co-authored several journal articles and volunteered at 4 different research labs, as well as the Vancouver Crisis Center. She now works as a research coordinator for Providence Healthcare. This fall, Lindsay will be starting her master's program in clinical psychology at York University, having recently received a scholarship from the Canadian Institutes of Health Research. Madam Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting the remaining graduates of the degree Bachelor of Arts in the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. Kurdistan Abdi. Mariam Akavan Rizay. Hadil Alamir. Maureen Alatrash. Zachariah Alegria. Tala Akalali. Marcel Allen. Ashley Allen Valo. Chelsea Anderson. Jessica Anzali. Marco Antonio. Michael Antunes. Khaled Aregi. Joaquin Eduardo Arguel. Aruf Arif. Alexander Arki. Joy Ivy Arlantico. Kenneth Armonio. Arun Aurora. Diksha Aurora. Hussein Assad. Lori Page Atkinson. Gurveer Atwal. Minsaj Atwal. Jeffrey Au. Monique Austria, Kirk Avina, Dunya Aziz, Priska Azoadam, Laila Sunwook Bak, Shannon Bechman, Allison Bailey, Amira Baines, Manisha Baines, Bowen Bakken, Harsimar Bal, Bavjot Bansi, Kaylee Barrett, Brooke Bartlett, Kendra Bartlett, Sylvia Barton, Sonia Bazalja, Jasmine Bazrai, Eric Bauer, Samantha Beauchamp, Samar Bezad, Emily Belcher, Tori Belton, Danielle Bergevin, Nina Yogesh Bhagat, Srishti Bala, Arminder Bandal, Gurleen Bandari, Amanda Blisharsky, Suzette Boyd-Claire, Kaylin Bollinger, Troy Boucher, Benam Buzmerirani, Amraj Brar, Arpan Brar, Tasha Brearley Green, Lauren Brown, Samuel Brown, Jenny Bruschetto, Alexandra Bucci, Fraser Buchholz, Rebecca Booman, Soo-hyun Byung, Alicia Cameron, Shauna Campbell, Vanessa Campbell, Grace Tsao, Yua Tsao, Jason Carrier, Erin Carter, Emily Carter, Keshav Chada, Navraj Chahal, Andrew Chan, Syrian Chan, Christopher Chan, Jade Chan, Brenda Chan, Wing-Kei Sharon Chan, Mei Chang, Jeonjin Chung, Emma Chapman, Kevin Chow, Priyanka Chowan, Ramita Chowan, Jasmine Chima, Nicholas Chern, Shuting Chern, James Shinyao Chern, Cliff Chung, Laura Chung, Jason Chiang, Chantel Chow, Yiting Choi, Angela True, Bonnie Chung, Jiyun Chung, Vanessa Chung, Jeffrey Clayton, Talia Cohen, Kelsey Cook, Cole Cornies, Stuart Coulson, Jessica Cousins, Zoe Crane, Layla Dapour, Mitchell Davies, Floran De Jesu, Nazleen Dean, Brittany Dinette, Amelia Denise Keys, Julie Duroff, Pukraj Daliwal, Karen Dami, Amy Damrate, Sukman Dariwal, Harman Dillon, Justin Dittrich, Olivia Donal, Kyla Domingo, Gagandeep Dosanjh, Faye Dwan, Savannah Duggan, Madison Duxbury, Riley Eakin, Madison Edge, Michael Mbuido, Michelle Eng, Paul Epp, Richard Erickson, Caroline Excel, Louise Fang, Zandrina Fitz, Melissa Flint, Rachel Fragile, Jarina Bande, Navjeet Guman, Rachel Gilder, Amrinder Gill, Gurjot Gill, Maria Nikki Giovannis, Alicia Gurn, Chelsea Gormley, Evan Granary, Anisha Gruel, Kashminder Gruel, Kiranpreet Gruel, Melissa Grice, Jessica Gresco, David Guan, Fatima Gulama Musain, Kari McPherson Gunton, George Guo, Anna Marie Gutierrez, Zachary Halper Johnson, Arvin Ham, Addison Han, Peter Han, Jade Handsome, Justin Hare, Serena Heckert, Beste Heckham, Darby Marie Henshaw, Julia Hindi, Gordon Ho, Joyce Ho, Brooke Hogan, Lindsay Holmes, Jiwon Hauser, Emily Shea, Jungchu Su, Darian Huang, Elva Huang, Jessica Huang, Amanda Huang, Jessamine Huang, Samantha Hung, Emma Hutchison, Rudy Huang, Corey Heistad, Alexander Ermagawa Crowther, Aaron Isley, Kylie Jack, Daniel Yeager, Vanessa Jaswal, Jessica Jawanda, Aziza Jahan, Singwon Jenny Jeon, Shakila Johnson, Richard Jollymore, Tara Joshi, Christine Jung, Nicholas Kainth, Alicia Khan, Daniel Khan, Aman Kandola, Mahan Karimi, Rudy Karkulti, Cassidy Kirsch, Faizan Khalid, Mariam Khan, Aman Kun, Julia Yang Yoon Kim, Woo Sung Kim, Ranjot Kingra, Arvinder Moore, Brandon Kong, Leo Kubotani, Derek Kwok, Anthony Kwok, Eldon Kwong, Jacob La, Melissa LaSalle, Henry Lai, Simran Lyle, Trina Lal, Vitus Lalonde, Brandon Lamb, Adeline Lau, Chris Lau, Igor Lazik, Austin Lee, Calvin Lee, Christy Lee, Joe Lee, Marina Miwan Lee, Nicole Lee, Sangyu Lee, Peter Lee, Timothy Lee, Vanessa Lee, Victoria Lee, Devin Leach, Alex Leung, Calvin Leung, Cameron Liu, David Lee, Heather Lee, Tingyuan Lee, Kenny Lee, Gabriel Yang, Karen Liang, Manpreet Litter, Kenneth Lim, Rochelle Lim, Charmaine Lim, Nicole Lim, Daphne Lin, Huan Ying Lin, Roy Liu, Leo Liu, Aaron Livingston, Abby Lloyd, Melody Lowe, Wei Ching Lo, Zhe Long, Kimberly Lopez, Andy Louis, Damon Louis, Kelsey Louis, Kendra Lockhart, Kevin Luke, Ashley Lum, David Ma, Ingrid McDonald, Denby McIntosh, Ryan McClellan, Emil Makihara, Jessica Manfron, Jovan Manim Tim, Jordan Manley, Bonnie Mao, Michelle Markin, Amanda Marshall, Simran Matharu, Christian Matosi, Amanda Mazlumi, Megan McNeat, Joel Mazaros, Martha Metcalf, River McCalchuk, Ashlyn Millar, Sharon Minhas, Simran Minhas, Kitty Mock, Kyle Mock, Emily Montalvan, Sarah Morehouse, Jasmine Muzial, Robert Moran, Sarah Mulligan, Lise Murakami, Bailey Murphy, Victoria Murphy, Gurveer Nagra, Luisa Narvaez, Natasha Neufeld, Kimberly Eng, Shane Eng, Cindy Nguyen, Fu Nguyen, Pukhraj Nijar, Shania Nizar, Cassandra O'Brien, Alexis Oms, Ademelola Amojokan, Bianca Onkerko, Samantha Pacheco, Saran Singh Pahal, Raisa Palashish, Tina Marie Palamorachuk, Ishmeet Panesh, Navpal Pander, Alvin Pang, Patrick Pangan, Ryan Park, Bishman Paskaran, Tasneem Patel, Danica Plant Manik, Nicole Poblit, Jasmina Punian, Nathaniel Punzo, Aaron Purdy, Jasmine Putri, Andy Chu, Samantha Kigao, Natasha Quigley, Megan Quirk, Hungwoo Ra, Araya Ramirez Granados, Mandeep Randhawa, Pavandeep Randhawa, Alicia Rao, Maha Rashid, Prabjot Rahal, Morgan Reimer, Catherine Rivera, Sarah Rizwan, Alexandra Maria Robson, Jason Rowe, Trin Rohr, Madison Rowley, Teresa Ron, Petra Rubin, Naveen Suchitu Nundan, Amandeep Sagu, Rishi Sani, Kiran Samra, Ravneet Samra, Gurleen Sandhu, Priya Sandhu, Ramandeep Sandhu, Ryan Sandrin, Jasleen Sangha, Jasmine Sangha, Sharina Santa Ana, Harvey Santiago, Tristan Schmidhauser, Alexander Seaman, Simran Sarah, Simran Kaur Sikon, Azin Satude, Seema Sharma, Caitlin Shilito, Henrietta Shu, Alicia Sidhu, Amandeep Sidhu, Gurdeya Sidhu, Conveer Sidhu, Meg Signorelli, Ursula Simon, Jordan Simonson, Damon Singh, Preet Smagh, Richard Smith, Chiwai So, Hyren Song, Sean Solomon, Justin Soliom, Sarah Sukaisian, Stephanie Sursos, Damian Spence, Christopher Spooner, Caitlin Stacy, Han Stander, Samantha Stuarnall, Erica Stewart, Kaylee Stinson, Carissa Stocco, Kristen Stowe, Thirtsa Suginanwan, Alyssa Sutton, Sophia Switukowski, Mark Sakun, Elizabeth Zito, Jack Tam, Angela Tang, Benson Tang, Davy Tang, John Christian Tang, Wilson Tang, Evelyn Taylor, Jasmine Taylor, Shahina Tagali, Rajbir Thaper, Karina Thiessen, Amin Devere Tint, Ria Tinney, Sarah Tufik, Alan Tran, Julia Tran, Kenneth Trieu, Campbell Trin, Darren Trin, Lena Trin, Jennifer Tsai, Menzi Tse, Kathy Turk, Madeline Underhill, Gurjeet Upal, Donna Van Bluis, Lauren Vandervoort, and Alexander Valaschenko, Earl Villarosa, Kiona Vincent, Hannah Visser, Elizaveta Volodina, Rowan Wallace, Zenon Walsh, Danielle Walters, Kaiwan Wang, Marissa Wong, Michael Wong, Oliver Wong, Chian Yao Wong, Natasha Warren, Kayla Watkins, Stephen Way, Alexis Weir, Rachel Weir, Kirsty West, Eve Westcott, Tara Watley, Natalie Wilson, Yosef Wallace Mayat, Alexandra Wolf, Alexander Wong, Andrea Wong, Joey Wong, Ryan Wong, Andy Wong, Douglas Woods, Kelsey Woods, Tiffany Woods, Cindy Wu, Claire Wu, Vanessa Yan, Benjamin Yap, Jonathan Yee, Michael Yen, Emily Young, Sarah Yorston, Sujin Yu, Eric Zabicki, Michelle Zhang, Jia Zhao, Danny Zhou, Tony Zhou, Mingmin Zhu, Chandra Zulu, Alina Zemina, Madam Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting the student who has completed the requirement for the diplomas and certificates in the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. Lindsay Shaver.
Madam Chancellor, the Governor General's Silver Medals are awarded to 2 undergraduate students who are judged to have the most outstanding records in the graduating class. One of the recipients of the Governor General's Silver Medal is Ms. Amelia Denny Keys, and I ask her to join me. Thanks, Amelia. Amelia is graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. While at SFU, she became involved in an undergraduate laboratory exploring the influence of social exclusion on cooperative behavior. She has consistently been on the president and dean's lists and has earned various scholarships. In addition to her studies, she's volunteered for a mental health rehabilitation program. In future, Amelia plans to pursue graduate studies and establish a career in the fields of mental health, addictions, and criminal justice. On behalf of SFU, we congratulate Ms. Denny Keys on her outstanding achievements, and I invite Chancellor Giardini to present the Governor General's Silver Medal. Will the graduating class please rise? I congratulate each of you on the completion of your degree. This is an impressive achievement, and I ask your friends, family, and members of the platform to join me in applauding the amazing graduating class of Spring 2019. Now, let's not forget who helped to get you here. I invite the members of the graduating class to reciprocate by applauding your family, friends, faculty, and staff, indeed all those who helped you to achieve your goal today. Please be seated.
My friends, this completes the formal awarding of degrees. Some of the graduands recommended by Senate for degrees today have been unable to be present, and their names have therefore not been read out, but I now admit them to their appropriate degrees as shown in the program. I just have a few quick thank yous to express. First of all, to each and every one of you for coming and joining us on this beautiful celebratory afternoon. Also to the many volunteers, staff and faculty members, coordinated by the Ceremonies and Events Office and by Student Services, who have worked together to run a smooth Convocation Day. And to the members of our 6-time world champion Simon Fraser University Pipe Band for their contributions to Convocation. The Pipe Band will be performing again after the ceremony in Freedom Square behind the platform. As I mentioned, this brings to a close the formal part of the afternoon's Convocation, but you are all now invited to attend a reception in the James Douglas Room behind the platform. I ask that you kindly rise as you are able and remain standing at your places until the platform party has recessed. Thank you all.